Good morning. I am here today with Chelsea Musser. Chelsea came to us, I want to say just over a year ago.
Mhm.
Is that right? When we started
Yeah,
working together?
yeah,
I'm gonna let you tell the story. You start with how you found us and um, our first couple conversations. They were funny.
yeah. So actually, I sent an email to a lot of head honcho women in the Keller Williams world. And I said, I'm not sure if you even check your email. So then I'll Facebook message them and said, I did send you an email. You may have an admin that checks your email, so you may not have gotten it. Maybe you check Facebook more. And all of them emailed me back and Facebook messaged me back and were like, we still check our own emails. Just let's lay that out there. And I said, well, this is what I'm looking for. I'm on a husband wife team. We're looking to grow. It looks like through the Keller Williams world, we're going to have to add an expansion partner, and we need to think about adding an admin or a TC and all these other systems we don't have yet. I need some guidance on someone who's worked with their spouse in business before and been successful working along their spouse and
Mhm.
what that looks like for a working mom. So that was just kind of the criteria, was someone who had worked with their spouse before, had been in a leadership role, and also did this while raising children.
Right.
And so all of the women replied back with who I should interview and talk with. And when Kristen, who I had just gone through the ESO class with, messaged back and said, well, hey, I have a fantastic coaching company. You need to talk with Shayna. And so we set up the phone call, and I don't know, you just got what I was looking for. I mean, it was a really good, I know I was interviewing you on that first one, like, I'm trying to find a coach. But you just seem to be like, I'm very passionate about this topic. I have been there. And I wanted to see a version of me 20 years from now as very successful and got through all these humps and got through all of the struggles. And that was you. And so I was just like,
Oh.
okay, this is who I'm supposed to be coached by.
Do I have just a little bit of permission to go down a personal road?
Sure.
So you have two beautiful daughters, young daughters, and like full-time businesswoman, and right in the middle of all what I call the messy middle, right? So you're doing
Yes.
all the things, and you had a particular day where like I think you ran out of something that the girls needed to go to daycare, and like you're you were just like all the things that women go through, right? Trying to juggle all the things. And that led us to your first hire.
Yes. Yes.
Tell like that. This is my favorite story to tell, but I want you to tell it.
Oh man. So I kept thinking just business, business, business. I was struggling at home keeping track of everything. And we had just come out of quarantine here in the state of Alabama. And so
Mhm.
daycare was starting to open back up for my girls. Then the schools were starting to say, hey, they were going to reopen, but it was going to be hit or miss if it was in person or virtual. So things were very unsure at home what was going to happen with the girls, but all I could think of is I need help focusing on business.
Mhm.
But what you helped me see is, oh my goodness, Chelsea, if you just have another set of eyes and ears and hands that can just help with these kids, and you can navigate this stuff and the chaos at home, especially while they're in this crazy young tantrum filled season, that will give you so much more brain space to think about what you need in your business. And so that was the first hire we were looking for. And you and I have talked about it. I remember I was riding in the car and I was like, what does this even look like? Like, is this a nanny? But I don't really need a nanny. Like, I really need someone to also help me with our dog. And I need someone to help me inventory the kitchen when I'm getting low on certain food that I know I need to add to a list to go get. I was like, it was just kind of a random assortment of things. And I was like, what does that person look like? And we came up with, we just need a family assistant. And
Mhm.
so then it was, okay, well, how do we find here in Birmingham, Alabama, a family assistant, and how young is that person? And then I was dealing with the whole mom guilt of, am I going to let this person drive my kids? Because that
Right.
would be a huge leverage piece. So I'm not having to leave work at a certain time to go pick up if I can guarantee that I can find someone to just pick them up from school and bring them back home.
Right.
And So we just worked through all of those questions, and then it was the pay structure. Okay, well, what is that averaging out here, versus other places? Because I know it kind of varies. And I think we came up with a really good just kind of paragraph for what we were looking for.
Yep.
And I posted it on some of the local Facebook pages that are associated with the colleges. So it was babysitter and nanny pages that are affiliated with all of the local universities. And
Yep.
I got
And
a
now we have,
slew of people.
right. And we have this incredible young woman who comes to your house, inventories everything, Instacarts it, puts it away, picks up the girls on the days when you need help, takes
Mhm.
care of like,
Yeah.
uh, and that was like the first month of our life. And we never even talked about your business really.
No, I mean, that was such a piece that was just getting in the way. I mean, it was
Hmm.
taking up so much time and brain space. And, I felt guilty, and maybe it's a woman thing, or maybe it's being raised in the South, but it's just, I felt like I needed to be superwoman and do it all. But in
Hmm.
order for me to ever get the space I needed to figure out how to grow our business, I had to have somebody help me at home with the kids. I mean, I just had to.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say immediately, oh, well, grandparents can help. And they can. But it kind of was eye opening to see after COVID just hit, I couldn't rely on grandparent help. I couldn't rely on that because they needed to be away from daycare kids that, were
Right.
full of bugs and germs and, all
And
the things.
and the truth is, like, and I think for you and for the grandparents, like when you're with the kids, you want to be with the kids. You don't be worried
Mhm.
about, do I need juice boxes or
Right.
or treats, or are we low on paper towels? Like those aren't the things. And I think you're right. We have this women guilt, this mom guilt that we need to do all the things. And the truth is, we don't need to do all the things. We need to do the most important things,
Hmm.
which is build incredible people and build incredible businesses. And there's other people that we can use in our world to do all these things that the girls don't know, that you don't buy the things in the house. The girls don't know. They don't care. They
They
care that you're
really
there, and
don't.
they care that when their grandparents are there, the grandparents are there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been very lucky that the girls, they have no um difference in personality towards me, towards our family assistant, her name's Shelby, towards the grandparents when they show up to help. I mean, it's when mom's home, and they come, flying to the door to come greet me. And, it's the best thing ever. And it's just one less thing for me to have to come in and worry about. Cause usually on the days that the family assistant has picked him up and has brought him home, she knows what she needs to do for the dog. She knows what she needs to do around the kitchen. She knows what she needs to do if something's, needed on their laundry for that week at school. Like we have all that planned out ahead of time. And then I have a calendar in the kitchen that has all the stuff in green that is for hers on the calendar and for her to do. She doesn't even need to look at it anymore. But at first I had it there just so she could kind of check it off.
Right.
Um, and so it's so great because I can come home and they're already bathed, and I just get to cuddle and I get to,
It's like
read a book, read a
right.
book to them before they go to bed. And so I miss all of the chaotic stuff leading up to that. Not every
Mhm.
night, but on some nights, and then that's strategically planned out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So back to business. Let's talk about that. So you guys were just like right in the throes of it all, building a team.
Mhm.
Kind of walk us down that path. What have we, in your mind, what have we accomplished?
So yeah, so when we met, Jeff and I had just hired our first, I guess, agent to join us on the team. I wouldn't say that he was buyer agent specific or listing agent specific. He just really focuses better in a team atmosphere, and he was
Hmm.
struggling by himself. And we meshed really well personality wise. So he had just joined the team, and then we had just found the Tuscaloosa person, and we had gone through that ESO class to officially be able to put him on the team, even though he was part of a different market center, the way that that works. And so we had somebody 45 minutes down the road in that different market. And I was still in sales and managing everybody's transactions, as like the TC for the team. So it was a lot.
Hmm.
And I knew that in order for us to grow, I needed to let go of being everybody's TC. As good as I am at that piece, it's not it's not really what I'm best at.
Right.
And we needed to find that person for us to keep growing. And so we ended the year finding that person, but she had just gone through her first 90 days. So to say that she was alleviating everything off our plates would be a lie. I mean, she was brand new to the real estate world. So those first 90 days were chaotic. And it was in the very last quarter of the year, which thankfully worked out really well because she had more time to focus on
Right.
learning the job instead of being thrown into the midst of the job. So that actually was a blessing in disguise for when she got hired. So I wouldn't really say we had much of a TC at all yet. The last quarter of the year, I really spent training her and having her shadow me, still do a lot of it, and slowly started letting go of the task and letting her, kind of figure it out and work through it.
Hmm.
But we ended the year with over 20 million in volume and helping 80 families here in small little Alabama.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, so it was a really successful year. And it's the first time I've ever been a boss. So that's been new as well.
Yeah, and you've been crushing it. Like you go through all the challenges that we all have, right? But you've been crushing it.
Well,
And I
thank you.
love that. Yeah, like been a lot of leadership growth, I feel like.
Yes, very
You
much.
know transactions, you're very you're a great student, so you understand the systems and models.
Mhm.
And but there's been a lot of leadership and coming into your world, both with creating a team and
Yeah.
maybe letting go of some hires, bringing in new hires, expectations, and that's been a lot of our focus.
Yeah, I would say this past year has for sure felt like the messy middle of it all.
Yeah,
And it has felt more chaotic this year than it ever has. But I think that's that whole E to P. Like we're
for sure.
we are really in the midst of trying to figure out how to turn this operation we have going on into a full-fledged business and for it to have the systems that work well and for all of us to be consistently using those systems and then be able to recruit in because we can show people what we can offer. And we have proof that it's helped other agents. We're
Right.
just in that phase of figuring all of that out.
And then, like you said, also working side by side with Jeff, your husband, and
Mhm.
all the things that that brings, good and bad, right? It brings great things, and sometimes it brings frustrating things, and figuring out like, and I love that we actually incorporate him into our calls at least once a month so
Yes.
that we're all in the same. I think that was a brilliant change that we made.
Yes, I think that was huge because he just sees stuff differently than I do, and that's okay. We're both pretty
That's the
dominant
beauty in it.
personalities, but we handle and think of stuff differently, and we both have strengths in different areas. And so, yeah, having him be able to come on the conversation when we're struggling with somebody that we've hired, or we're struggling with how to lead an agent in a certain way, or just we're struggling because there's a difference of opinion between he and I on how something maybe should be done as we move forward. Um, I think that's been super helpful to have for you to hear his side of it without me having to be the
Hmm.
messenger every single phone
Hmm.
call.
Hmm.
So then you can really grasp how he's feeling about it. So then you and I work through that on our next few phone calls.
Right. And bring it in, which
Yeah.
just makes everything
Yeah, for sure.
build smoother. So what's been you think the either what have you learned? What's been the best thing you've learned in the last 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months? And or what's the greatest thing you've overcome that you're most excited about that's helping you grow?
I think I've just learned to be proud of myself. Gosh, I mean that's really hard. I mean, looking back to where we were last year to where we are right now, and some of the hires that we lost, and some of the great ones that we have, and just that growth and the trajectory of where I can see us going. I think allowing myself to be proud, and you have made me focus so much on what am I doing to take care of me? Because
Mhm.
if I'm not doing well, well then stuff at home looks messy and chaotic and even more stressful than it already is with two young children. Stuff at the workplace, can be more frustrating than maybe it really needs to be.
Mhm.
And so I love that you push me to dedicate time each week to, okay, what are you doing for you? Are you exercising? Is that what you told me you wanted to do? Are you taking a minute to just, mentally just have a moment to check out and be silent? What is it that you need right now? And that's hard for me because, just being in charge and now having a family assistant to, create a plan for and keep up with week after week, the girls. And this year has been more chaotic than it's ever been, just with personal stuff, with illnesses and stuff like that. Like it's been hard for me to remember to take care of me, but having
Yeah.
somebody to remind me to do it helps.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll keep doing it. Our last call when you were like, "Tell me your mom hacks." Like, what? Like you are holding out. That was the best.
Oh my gosh.
It was the
I
best.
bought a cooler off Amazon. It just came in the mail. So it's one of those, it's strapped
Yes.
to like each seat and it sits in between. So I can like pull some of the cold stuff out. Because yeah, I mean, as the girls get a little older and they have after school activities, it's great that, I have a business and an operation and an office to be in and appointments to go on, but it's kind of training my brain to think, okay, well, some of these appointments that the girls have are really good networking opportunities for me. So I need to stop letting Shelby go to most of those, and I need to take on some of those
Hmm.
and be there so I can watch my girls because I want to, but also it gives me a chance to network with the other moms. And
Oh, heck
so,
yeah.
so it's just like, okay, this is a win-win opportunity. And I need to, as much as I love having Shelby help pick up the girls and take them to this stuff, there are some of these things I need to go to because it would
Yeah.
actually help on a networking level.
I think I was a proud ballet mom for 18 years, and it was one of my it's one of my greatest business levers.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, it was a lot
exactly.
of fun.
Exactly.
Um,
So yeah, I got the hack for the cooler. Because kids are picky. They're like, this isn't cold enough. This isn't. I'm like, okay. All
you
the
do live in
snacks,
Alabama.
all the snacks. And yeah, and then there's all the cool systems that I've come up with just to try to ease mornings. And then you were told me just recently about the sticker system, and so we're going to start implementing that
Yes.
as 3 weeks from now will be school starting back. So we've got 3 weeks to start getting them used to the sticker system and continue it on. So I'm
And the
excited
whole
about
time we do all this and never miss a beat in your business. Like, we carry the right level of pendings. Like, we just keep moving forward. Not that it's blissful, and it never is. Growth is never like, you never just casually grow. It's always a little bit messy, but
it.
you
Yeah.
do it. You always do
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes,
So where are we going? Like, what's it look like in a year for you?
oh man, in a year. So we now as a team, we have, I consider Shelby just a part of the team because she helps at home. So we've got the family
She is.
assistant, we've got the transaction coordinator slash admin, and we've got some girls that do our marketing virtually. And then we've got 4 good producing agents. So
Hmm.
my hope is to keep the family assistant to that's just an always a yearly thing for us until the girls can drive themselves. I don't see me never not using that resource. I want to separate out the TC job and then have a actual dedicated admin for the team. Um, and my hope is, as much as I love the virtual marketing piece, I think because every real estate agent and team owner is feeling the pressure of video content and better branding and better marketing, I think if we were to have that person be more in-house,
Hmm.
that would be huge. That would
Hmm.
just level up our marketing and we would have somebody just here to handle all of that. I think that would be probably the next greatest hire for us, along with me still trying to find the right agents, that fit the atmosphere of our team and want to continue to better their own business.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. How many agents are we after?
We need 4 more, 4
4 more
other really good ones.
across
4 really
across
well produced
Alabama.
ones.
This is our commercial, across Alabama. Like,
Exactly,
you're
exactly,
welcome,
the
Jeff.
whole state. I know
Right.
I've got some awesome agent connections, in some of the other bigger cities. So right now I feel like I've just got referral partners all over the state, which is great, but to have them be able to benefit from what the team could bring to their own business, I think would be huge.
Right. And that's your vision, to be a team across Alabama.
That's
So,
right.
but
That's right.
building strategically, Tuscaloosa that was a big hire.
Yes, yeah,
We
and
finally got that one
we really
done.
need to find another one for that area. I mean, that area
Mhm,
has the University of Alabama and, it's an attractive place. So, yeah,
mhm. Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm honored. I kind of feel like I'm a part of your family with the girls, with
I
Lola and the
know.
baby, and I love it. So thank you. I so much appreciate your time
Oh my gosh,
and
of course.
talking about your business. And we're going to come back in a year. We're going to come back in a year and find out where you are and tell
I'm
the story.
excited. I'm
Cool,
excited
cool.
about
All
it.
right. Take care.
Alrighty.